Welcome to this week's edition of I Watched It So You Don't Have to with Brian Combs. This week we are reviewing the 10th entry into the Friday the 13th franchise, directed by James Isaac. Jason X, or aka Jason Goes to Outer Space. So I have a soft spot in my heart for all the films in the Friday the 13th series. I started watching them way too young, probably at the age of like 6 or 7. I've never found them scary. I find them kind of funny. Sometimes they're just so bad you have to laugh at them. And sometimes they're silly and they know that they're silly and they lean in on that. And that is definitely Jason X. How crazy is this movie? Well, in the first 5 minutes, one of the greatest auteurs in cinema history, David Cronenberg, Mr. Body Horror, he's acting in this movie and he's playing a scientist at a cryogenesis center that is in the process of trying to get Jason Voorhees' frozen body moved to another facility. Well, with any kind of plan when it comes to moving or getting rid of Jason Voorhees in this long-running series, it does not go well. He becomes quickly unfrozen. His first act is to just start running rampage of all these scientists and their assistants, and poor David Cronenberg, in the first 5 minutes of the movie, gets a machete through the heart. Take a look here. Okay, so that leads to one surviving final girl in the first 5 minutes of the movie, and Jason alone in this facility. And both of them, through a series of mishaps, end up frozen cryogenically. Flash forward in the next scene, which is like 400 and some years in the future, like I think the year 2450. There's a spacecraft full of a professor and some college kids that happen to put on this abandoned facility with Jason and this woman frozen, so they decide to take them back to see if they can revive her, but they find no life in Jason because we all know he's just dead and you can't kill him. So they take him back to try to do like an autopsy on him and research on him, so you all know where this is going. Well, we all know, if we've watched a Friday the 13th film featuring Jason, which the first one didn't, by the way, until the very end, it was his mom. The one thing that gets him angrier than anything is people having sex. So he's laying on this autopsy table, slowly thawing out, by the way. And in three separate rooms on this spacecraft, which is kind of like a traveling cruise ship, there's three different couples individually having sex at the same time. And Jason's sixth sense when it comes to people having sex within a rock's throw of him goes off. And my dude sits up like the Undertaker when Paul Bear held up the urn. Check this out. So Jason immediately just takes the poor scientist that's doing the autopsy on her, dunks her head into a sink full of liquid that freezes her face instantly, and then shatters her face into 1,000 pieces against the table. He then starts running rampage, as Jason does, all throughout the teenagers and the college students and the scientists that's on this ship. There's a few folks that survive, and they call in like a branch of the military or what have you with some super strong guns, futuristic guns, and they make mincemeat out of Jason. But as we all know, you can't keep a good man down. There's a technology that exists in this future version of humanity in which, like, even if you get an arm chopped off, they can put this substance on you that helps you regenerate immediately, so you cannot really ever die. Well, wouldn't you know it, some of this stuff is spilled and comes in contact with Jason, and it not just revives him, but it also pretty much makes him bigger, stronger, and faster, and it inexplicably gives him a metal vest and a metal mask. Look at this. So, as you can probably tell, I'm kind of enthusiastic about this movie. I know a lot of people consider it the weakest in the entire franchise. I am not one of those. I enjoy the silliness of it. I mean, just the elevator pitch alone, let's put Jason Voorhees in outer space, is enough to sell me on it. I mean, it's pretty cool. There's a great new 4K from Arrow Video available if you want to buy it from their website or any other outlets. I actually picked it up, and even though I'd seen it many times before, it's definitely the best version of this film outside of when it was originally released in theater, as far as audio and picture quality. I give Jason X 3.5 out of 5 stars. I highly recommend it. I mean, you've got Jason in space fighting a freaking cyborg. What more do you want? Until next time, this has been I Watched It So You Don't Have to with Brian Combs.